Okay, JDBC means you said Java Database Connectivity. So what is it actually, JDBC? If you want to connect Java program, if you want your Java program to connect to database, you can use JDBC, right? Okay, let me tell you, put it in very clear way. Tell me, Oracle is a database. True, false? True. Database language. No. SQL is a language, correct? What is Oracle? Is it a database? No. It is a DBMS, database management system, right? Inside Oracle DBMS, you can create n number of databases. Database is nothing but collection of some data. Is called as database, right? In database, what you have? Tables. In tables, what you have? Records, right? So database is nothing but collection of records, and Oracle is not a database, it is a management system. Database management system, right? So let's assume Oracle is installed on my machine. Once my machine starts, Oracle is also configured to start once my machine starts. Right? It will be running in the background. It's a daemon process. So once my system starts, Oracle also starts, right? So once Oracle starts, actually Oracle is not a single program. It has a lot of programs. So one of the program when it starts, it will start listening on a port called 8080. So when Oracle starts, there will be one program which will be listening on a port called 8080 by default. We can change the port number also. But by default it listens for. So Oracle server. So if any program which is listening on a port is called a server? Yes. So there are two things actually, Oracle client and Oracle server which you can install. Generally on your machines, Oracle server will be installed. Oracle client will be installed. On server machine, server will be installed. On my machine, I have installed Oracle server. So on my machine, Oracle server is listening on a port called 8080 by default. I took all the defaults. It is listening on a port called 8080. And by using Oracle, what we can do? We can create a database. Yes. Inside that database, we can create some tables, views, and then what else we can create? Yes, we can insert data, we can delete data, update, or file select queries. We can file queries. We can send some messages to the server, right? So once Oracle server is there, installed on my machine, there are a lot of clients also for Oracle. Did you work with any of the clients like SQL Developer? Yeah, I have a client called SQL Developer. I'll just open it quickly. SQL Developer. Yeah. See, this is a SQL Developer client which will be starting right now. This is an SQL client. On my machine already Oracle is there which is listening, Oracle server is there which is listening on 8080. So this is a client program. I think this client has been developed in Java. Oracle SQL Developer is a tool by Oracle. And do you know any other clients for database Oracle? Toad. Have you listened to that client called Toad? Yes, there is another client called Toad. So to connect to Oracle server, there are a lot of clients that are already developed. What you can do is by using Java program, you can also write a client to Oracle server, right? Suppose if you are writing a client to Oracle server, what you need to do? Oracle server is listening on which port? 8080. So you can write a client program which can establish a socket communication to 8080. You know how to write a client program now, right? Basics of client programming, you know. So you can also write a program, a Java program, so that it can connect to Oracle server. So once a client program is run, what you can do, you can establish a socket communication. Once you establish socket communication, there is a problem now. Oracle server, can it understand if you say hello to Oracle server, can it understand? No. So whenever there is server and client programming, there should be some protocol, right? So there is one protocol which is followed by Oracle. So whenever if you are writing a client, Java client, to talk to Oracle, you should understand what protocol is understood by Oracle server, right? Oracle is not following HTTP protocol. It is having its own protocol. What is the protocol? Yeah. ODBC is not a protocol. Okay, Oracle is having its own protocol, right? So if you are writing a client, Java client to talk to Oracle, you have to know what is the protocol followed by Oracle, and you have to write your client program such that it will send messages which will be understood by Oracle. Okay? Now, tell me any other DBMS you know? MySQL is another DBMS? Okay. Now when you install MySQL also, again MySQL also will be listening on a port called 3306 by default. Okay? So again MySQL server is installed on your machine. So if you want to write a Java client which will connect to MySQL, again what you can do, you can write a socket programming. Now you know how to make a socket which will connect to this port. But once it connects, you have to send messages. But again, MySQL is following a different protocol. Let us assume that initially my client, suppose I am developing for a client, I am developing an application for a client. My client said, okay, we want to use Oracle as my database. So I wrote a Oracle client in Java. But when I started writing Oracle client, I wrote my program according to Oracle's protocol, right? So in my Java program, my Java client program, I have sent messages to Oracle server according to Oracle's protocol, right? Tomorrow, client changes the requirement. Oh, Oracle is so costly. If I had to buy a license of Oracle, I had to spend so much of dollars. MySQL is open source, it's free, right? So he wants me to shift to MySQL database. What should I do now? I have already developed a lot of classes for writing client program which will connect to Oracle. So what shall I do now? Clients are like that only. Clients are mad. They'll just say one word now. Tomorrow they'll change. No, I don't want like this. I want in this way. So clients are like this. See, even like I work right now on a project for a US client. We're actually developing a product. So what the client will do every day in the morning, once I wake up, he'll give me a requirement, or for 1 week he'll give a requirement. He'll say, I want something like this, so I will develop something like this. And tomorrow he'll see another application on some website which is similar to our application. Hey, no, go to this website, see how they have developed. I want it like this. Then again, I had to change all my existing code. The client is just like a small kid. If a small kid sees a dog, he'll say, hey, I want a dog. Just like the clients are mad, they'll change the requirements. So what will happen if client says, what we understood is, the protocol which MySQL server understands is different and Oracle protocol is different, right? So if I have already written Java client assuming Oracle client, and if my client says I want to use MySQL from tomorrow, I have to rewrite all the existing Java code, the database client code, so that my client code will be using the protocol which is followed by MySQL. My client should send MySQL protocol specific messages, right? So now, if such is the scenario, today if my client starts using Oracle, generally it will be very difficult to shift to another database. Do you agree or not? once we have developed a lot of code for Oracle specific things, to change all this code also it will be very difficult. So client will be locked to a particular vendor, right? Because every database has its own protocol. If I have to write a client for its own protocol, again I will be locked. I will not be able to switch from one vendor to other, one database vendor to other. So suppose if my client starts with Oracle, he has to die with Oracle. He has no other chance. If even like Oracle increases the license charges for 1 year, that you have to pay a license. If even Oracle increases the license charges also, you have to pay. We have no other choice. We are locked to a particular vendor. So now in the industry they thought, oh, we should not be locked to a particular vendor like Oracle. Once I write a client program, my client program should be independent of the database vendor. My same Java code should be able to connect to Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server or anything. So they require a standard, right? So Microsoft was a leading vendor at that time in around some 1998 or so. When was Java born, tell me? 1996 was a year where Java started clicking. Okay, it was there before also in 1992. From 1992 it started, but it clicked from 1996. So in around 1990s, there was a requirement. No, once you write a client, that same client should be able to connect, same client program should be able to connect to Oracle or MySQL or anything without any code change. So Microsoft was a leading vendor at the time. Whatever Microsoft says, it became a rule at that time. Right? So they came up with an API called ODBC. ODBC stands for Open Database Connectivity. What is it? Which drive? What is that? Correct. Driver class. Correct. Driver. Okay, not driver class. Driver. Correct. ODBC is not a driver, first of all, to be exact. See, they have proposed ODBC API. API means what? Application Programming Interface. They have proposed, they are given as a set of interfaces. Okay? So whenever you are writing a program, whether using Java or .NET or C++ or anything, this is actually not Java API. Do you know what is API? See, I have opened a browser and showed you classes, interfaces and all. Java API. You are seeing the documentation. That is API documentation. Application Programming Interface Documentation. So like that, Microsoft has proposed ODBC API, where they gave us some set of interfaces. But again, ODBC is not in Java. It was, I think, C++ API. If you want to connect to C++, if you want to write a C++ client, you can write. You can use this ODBC, right? So this is just an API, means they have given the interfaces. Some interfaces they are given, and implementations have to be written by vendors. So when Microsoft came up with ODBC API, Oracle gave implementation to this ODBC API. MySQL gave implementation to its ODBC API. Implementation means what? They have provided some interfaces. Interface have to be implemented. That implementation have been given by Oracle. MySQL also gave their own implementation, right? So the implementation of this ODBC API is called as ODBC driver. Okay. So now, what you can do is, this ODBC is not in Java. This is in C++ API using C++ or VC++. So C++. Don't worry about what is this API in which language. It is not Java. Okay. So what you can write is, if you are writing a C++ client, you can write a client code using this API. You can make calls on the interfaces. You can make in your program. You can make calls on this ODBC API. This ODBC driver will try to convert your ODBC API calls to the database specific calls. Right? If you make a call on the ODBC API, ODBC driver for Oracle has its own ODBC driver, MySQL has its own ODBC driver. Every vendor came up with their own drivers. What is the purpose of this driver? They'll convert your code to the database specific protocol code. Every database is having their own protocol, right? So your calls on this ODBC driver API will be converted to database specific calls. So Oracle's ODBC driver will convert your calls to Oracle specific things, right? So you may not be very clear about what is this API. API means what is that? Interfaces. So as part of this API they gave us some interfaces, right? So interface means there should be some implementations. So interface, Oracle has given their own ODBC or Oracle implementations. So suppose in ODBC API there are some 10 interfaces. In the Oracle ODBC driver there will be 10 implementations for all these interfaces, right? So whenever you are writing your client in C++, what you can do is you can create a reference of the interface present in ODBC API. But that interface reference can point to implementation, right? The implementation is nothing but the one which is given by Oracle. So whenever you make a call on the interface, the methods on the implementation will be called interface reference pointing to implementations, right? So whenever you call methods on these interfaces, calls will be made on the class implementations, right? Right? So Oracle has its own driver and MySQL has its own ODBC driver. Like that, every database vendor has its own driver, right? Means driver means what? Implementation of this ODBC API. Now your client code will not be creating any specific object of either Oracle or MySQL. Your client code will be using interface references, and interface references will be pointing to corresponding implementation objects, right? So your C++ code, in your C++ code you will never create an object of specific implementation directly. In your code you will be making reference of ODBC API interfaces. You will be making calls on the interface references only. Okay? Now let's assume that my client today wants to connect to Oracle. What I'll be doing? I'll be using Oracle ODBC driver, right? And my code will be having references to interface only. Interface references will be pointing to implementations at runtime. There's runtime polymorphism. At runtime, references will be pointing to implementation. What implementation it is used can be calculated during runtime. I showed an example of runtime polymorphism. Interface reference can point to any implementations, right? What implementation it is pointing to can be decided dynamically, right? Today what I did, as my client asked me to write a client program to use Oracle, I wrote my client program using ODBC API only. My client program is having only interface references. Okay? So tomorrow my client asked me to write a code using MySQL database. What I have to do? Is my client code required to change? My client code is having only interface references. It didn't use any particular implementation, right? So my client code need not change. I need to just change my Oracle driver to MySQL driver. So only changing the driver will be sufficient if I want to change the database, right? Client code will be same. Okay, let me explain you very clearly what do I mean by interfaces, interface reference pointing to implementations. I think I have given you inheritance, I think. Yeah, tell me, this is a code. Just assume, just want to give you a view of how to write your code using only interfaces. Actually, reader is an interface, right? If this method is taking read interface, it can be passed with any of the implementation of reader. But in my method, what am I using? Am I using any implementation? I am calling methods on the interface only. I am calling the methods on interface reference, right? So if I pass an object of CD reader, this will call read method on CD reader. If I pass an object of DVD reader, this reader.read will call read method of DVD reader, right? But if you see only this code is written using interfaces. Do you agree? Right? So ODBC is just giving us the interfaces. When I am writing my client code, I will use only interface references and call methods on the interfaces, right? But this interface reference will be pointing to which implementation? Whether Oracle drivers implementation or MySQL drivers implementation will be decided at runtime, right? So my same client program can run for different database also. Now my client code is not locked to a particular vendor. If I write my client program using which API? ODBC API. But now we are not writing C++ client. We are writing Java client, right? So what Java people has done is they don't want to use JDBC API. So they don't want to use ODBC API. They gave their own API called JDBC API. JDBC API. Again, this is also API. Means they gave us some set of interfaces, right? So when JDBC API is there, there should be implementation of these interfaces. So Oracle has come up with its own implementation for this JDBC API. MySQL has its own implementation of JDBC API. Like that, every database vendors have their own implementation of JDBC API. So implementation of this API is called as driver, right? So we have a driver for each and every database, right? There are different types of drivers. There are 4 types of drivers: type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Have you been discussed about? Okay, there are 4 types of drivers. I'll talk about each driver. First type of driver which was there in the market in the initial days was called as JDBC, ODBC, bridge driver. Okay. So I'll just open your diagram and show you first. Here you can see the type 1 driver, JDBC, ODBC bridge driver. Here this is the database server and this is the client machine. And on client machine, your client program will be using what? JDBC, ODBC bridge driver, right? So you will be making method calls on JDBC API, right? JDBC API calls will be converted to ODBC calls by this JDBC, ODBC bridge driver. And ODBC calls are converted to ODBC driver calls will be using vendor library, means database specific library. Like suppose if you have installed MySQL on your machine, the MySQL client library will be installed on your machine. So this ODBC driver will be using vendor library, and this vendor library knows how to talk to the database. So see here, your JDBC calls has to be converted to ODBC calls. ODBC calls have to be converted to native calls by using this vendor library. So 2 types of conversions are there, right? So is it a best driver? No, this is not a best driver because you are calling methods on Java JDBC API. JDBC API method calls are converted to ODBC method calls. Then these ODBC method calls are converted to are internally using vendor library, and vendor library knows how to talk to the database by using that specific protocol. right? So this is not a good driver. So we go for the next driver. This type 2 driver is called as native API or partly Java driver. It is partly written in Java. See here, this is your client program. Your client program will make calls using JDBC API. JDBC API calls are directly converted to vendor specific calls by using vendor library. There is no ODBC in the middle. ODBC bridge in the middle. So is the performance better than the type 1 driver? Better than type 1 driver, but still it has some limitations, because if a client wants to talk to database server, vendor library must be present on the client machine. This vendor library here should be present on the client machine. If vendor library has to be present on the client machine, what you have to do is you have to install the database specific client application. Suppose if you are installing Oracle on your machine, there are two things: Oracle server, Oracle client. If you install Oracle client on your machine, then only this vendor library will be present. Otherwise, it will not be present. So, if you want to use type 2 driver here, vendor library also should be present on your machine, right? This is the limitation. So, type 2 driver is better than type 1, but still it has some problems. Now, coming to type 3. See here, this is a client machine and this is a server machine. Okay, this is server machine and this is a client machine. On client machine, there is no need of vendor library to be present also right now. But you require an intermediate server. Your client will not directly talk to a database server. Your client will always talk to intermediate server, and this server will talk to database server. The advantage is, on your client machine there is no need of vendor library to be present. On your client machine you need not install the database client. But the disadvantage is you require separate middleware server. This is a disadvantage. So even we are not using type 3 drivers right now. The last one is type 4 driver, which is very good. See, your client program is using JDBC driver. JDBC driver directly talks to the database server. No need of ODBC bridge driver, no need of vendor library to be present, nothing. Your client program directly talks to database server, right? So type 4 driver is the mostly used driver right now in the internet, right? Type 4 driver is much more efficient. Now let us go through the steps. I am going to create a new project, JDBC. Next, finish. Yeah. Now, as I said, if I want a database code, I need to have libraries, drivers. I want to connect to MySQL, so I need to use MySQL driver, right? So drivers are nothing but classes which are implementing JDBC API. So MySQL has provided their driver implementation as part of a jar file. So we need to keep that jar file in our project's class path. So which driver did you use yesterday? Already I have given you MySQL connector. If you extract this, if you extract it here, inside this there is a jar file called MySQL connector Java. You have to keep this inside the class path. This is the driver jar. This is having some classes which are implementing JDBC API. Interface is present in JDBC API. Now first let me show you how to add this jar into class path. You know it? Right click on the project, properties, build path, libraries, add external jar, select that jar. Selecting that jar. So that jar will be added to the class path. You should be able to see the reference jars here. Means now this jar is present inside the class path. Now what I want to do is I want to write file insert statement. Right click on src, new package first, com.accenture.jdbc. Now new class JDBC demo. Deck main. Tell me first step what I need to do if I want to load the driver. Class dot ornate. No, I'll do it in a different way. See, driver is an interface present in JDBC API. Okay, first let me open this JDBC. First let me open this API. See here in this API, here in this documentation, there is a package called java.sql. This is the package. As part of JDBC specification. JDBC is again a specification. Specification means what? Some set of rules. JDBC is a specification. So as part of JDBC specification, they gave us a lot of interfaces. See? Interfaces. These are all the interfaces, and there is an interface called driver. And there are a lot of other interfaces also here, which we will be seeing slowly. All are interface maximum. Okay. So in Java.sql package, we are having the JDBC API. I told JDBC API means there are a lot of interfaces. These interfaces you can see here. The interface which came as part of JDBC API. Okay. So JDBC comes with two versions. JDBC comes up with core Java. The interface which you see in Java.sql belongs to core Java, and JDBC specification also comes as part of J2EE also, which you will see later. That comes in a package called Java X.sql. Now we are seeing JDBC, which is part of core Java. Okay, I will tell you the differences there. So here there is an interface, important interface called driver. So first step when you want to connect to database is to create an object of this interface. I said JDBC is coming up with interfaces. We have to create interface references. So I will create reference of this driver interface. Driver. See, there are two drivers. One is Java.sql driver. This is an interface I, and this is a class com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This class is implementing this interface. Okay. So what I will do is first I will create a reference of interface. I told whenever I am writing a database client, my code should always make references of interfaces. So here I will write driver is equals to new driver. But now I am taking the driver present in this package com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This is throwing some exceptions. I will throw it. See, first step is to create an object of driver. Then the next step is there is a class called driver manager. So next step is to register your driver with driver manager. Driver manager dot register driver. So you are creating an object of driver and registering it with the driver manager. First, these are the first two steps which you have to do. Then the next step is your driver is registered with driver manager. Then you can ask the driver manager to give a connection to your database. The third step is driver manager dot get connection. Get connection. The first one is nothing but the URL. Second one is nothing but the username to connect to database. Third one is nothing but the password. See, for my database I have the username as root and the password also I give as root. So you know your database passwords. What are they? Root and root only. We are telling your passwords also. Okay, whatever your database username and passwords, you have to keep here. And second one, first one is the URL, right? every database will be having their own particular URLs. See, I'll just write it down. For MySQL, it will be something like this. For MySQL, it will be something like this: JDBC colon MySQL colon slash slash the IP of the machine on which database, IP colon port at which the database is listening slash the database name. This is the format. Remember, this format is important for your exam also. For MySQL, the URL will be JDBC colon MySQL colon IP of the database server. Your server will be on some machine, the IP of that machine, and the port at which your database is listening. By default, it will be 3306 for MySQL, and the database name. There can be lot of databases in MySQL. MySQL is a DBMS. There can be lot of databases. So database name, this is the one. And if it is for Oracle, it will be like this: JDBC colon Oracle colon kin colon at localhost colon the port number 1521 is for default, or else a port colon the system identifier. Every database in Oracle will be having a system identifier. So if you have created your own database in Oracle using Oracle, you will be having a system identifier. This is the SID if you are connecting to Oracle. By default, the SID for the default database will be XE, default database name, XE, capital XE. Okay, then you can create your own identifiers also. Generally, the database administrators will be creating all the databases, so they can ask what is SID. Or if you have already used Oracle, I think you are given training in Oracle, right? MySQL you used. SQL you used, but using which database? Oracle only, right? So what is the connection string for connecting to Oracle? When you might have used SQL starters. What is the connection string for connecting to Oracle? You didn't use connection. Username password you type. So there also you need to give a connection string, which is nothing but same as a SID. By default it will be using XE. Okay, fine. This is the URL for Oracle. Now as I am using MySQL, I have to give this URL. See here, the first one, JDBC colon MySQL colon. Now the database is on my machine only, so I will give local host colon the port number. If the port number by default is 3306, if you are using the default port, you need not give the port also. If it is other than default port, you can give the port. If it is default port, no need to give. And database name, I don't have any databases here. Hope you know how to use SQL Yog. SQL Yog is the client for connecting to MySQL. So I can create, I already have a database called Accenture DB. Yeah, see, okay, I can create another database also, right? Here I will give, instead of DB name, I will give test here. And my username and password is again root and root. See, what is this driver manager.get connection returning? It is returning me an object of connection. Connection. See, always you have to be very careful. Connection from java.sql package. Driver manager.get connection. I think semicolon. See, now once this line is executed, what it will do? It will make a connection to this URL using this username and password. A connection will be established to the database, right? As I was telling, JDBC is an API. It comes up with interfaces. I told that I have to always create references of interfaces. What is the reference I created? connection. It is present in which package? Java.sql. I told all the interfaces present in Java.sql belongs to JDBC API, right? So in my program, whenever I am creating references, I am using interface references only, and I am calling methods on interface only. You can see here. Okay. Now, what I can do is, I want to fire a query. I want to fire a DDL. What is DDL? Is it? DDL means? Is it? Really? We don't know any other things. Okay, good. So I want to fire a create statement. I want to create a table. If I want to create a table, I have to send a message to server. I have connection established right now. I have to send a server to the server. I have to send a message to server asking create a table with this name and with this column, right? So we don't know actually protocol. We don't know what is the protocol using which I have to send a message. There is a class called statement which we can use if I want to send any query to the database using database specific protocol. I need to use an object called statement. Okay. So the next step here is to get an object of statement. Connection dot create statement. There is a method called create statement. If I call create statement, I will be getting an object of statement. You have to be very careful. You have to always import the one from Java.sql. So what is the statement object? Tell me. Is it an interface again? It is an interface present in Java.sql. I am creating a reference of interface. Once I call connection at create statement, I am getting an object of its implementation. But whenever I am creating references, it is interface reference. So what is the statement object? It is an object which knows how to fire queries on the database. How to send queries which will be understood by the database server. Right? So now I want to fire a statement. So first I'll write the SQL string. SQL statement which I want to fire is, I want to create a table called employee. Create table employee of EMPID wait. I don't remember actually the types. Int or integer? It is int here in MySQL. Okay. EMPID int space int comma name space varchar or varchar, yeah, varchar. Name varchar of some 30 comma salary, salary should be int again. See, this is the SQL statement which I want to fire on the database. Okay, is it correct? Huh? So now to fire a query, statement dot execute. There are a lot of execute statements. There is a method called execute update. Execute update. Here I will pass the SQL. See, execute update, statement dot execute update. Let us see the documentation. What is this statement? Statement is an interface and there is a method called execute update. Right? Execute update must be either insert, update or delete, or an SQL statement that returns nothing. So I can pass DDL also here. That's all. And finally what I do is statement dot close connection dot close the connection. Now just check, run this program and just check whether a table is created or not. Yeah, terminated. I'll just refresh here. I'll just refresh. Table is created, employee, with whatever I said. See, int varchar 30 int salary. Now do this program and see whether table is created or not. MySQL is installed on all the machines, I guess. Yes. Installed. Table created. Yeah, one. See, remove the imports which are using driver. Remove two last imports is removed. See, I told you always have to import the one from java.sql. Whenever you are importing from java.sql. Import cluster driver. Change to second select. Now, here also. This driver controls first interface. Interface control, import interface control driver. Driver interface control space. Go to the end of the R. Input subject R. Control space. Select the one from Java or SQL. Second one. Okay. Now statement also input subject there. Import the one from Java or SQL. What is the problem? I created a table in a database called test. By default it is. By default, whenever you install, you are connected to test. Connect test. Whoever does not have SQL, you have to install. On the first day, I have given you for Accenture training folder. In that SQL, you have to install it. Even without that also, your program are executed. And if you install it, on the first day I have gave you, you cannot install, ask them to install. You can here. All of you who don't have SQL Server and SQL Yoke installed in emergence, intimators here, CR will get it installed by afternoon. Not now, one month less time. In the lunch break you will get it installed. Okay. One thing I will tell you here, these two steps, instead of writing these two steps, there is a shortcut. I will comment these two steps. Class dot for name, and then I have to give the driver name. Driver name is com.mysql.jdbc.driver. This is throwing some exception class and font. I will throw it. Yep. See here, I will explain you what is happening whenever I say class.forName. Whenever I say class.forName, forName is a static method class. It will load this class. Whatever you give, it will load this class. Tell me, immediately after class is loaded, what will be executed? Static blocks. In your class there are some static blocks, they will be executed, right? So inside the static block of this driver code, there is this code, right? This code is already there, right? Similar code. So you need not write these two statements. If you just load the class, it is sufficient. Okay? So generally we use class.forName. So you need to understand internally class.forName. Whenever your class is loaded, automatically it is registering the driver with driver manager. This you have to know. That is the reason why I wrote these two steps initially. Okay. So you can use class.forName shortcut. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to insert. I want to fire an insert query first quickly. What I will do is I will write a separate class, new class, JDBC util. JDBC util. Write this class. All of you write this class, because in future also in my J2E also I will be using this JDBC util. Whenever I want to insert a statement, I will call a method in this util. I will be writing one method for insert, update, delete, whatever it is there, I will be writing code here. Now I want to write a code for insert. Here what I'll do is public void insert. Here I will take the SQL query string SQL comma string SQL. If you pass the insert query, it will be inserting everything. Okay. Here I will write a constructor here, JDBC util. I will create a variable called connection. And here I will initialize the connection. In the constructor I will initialize the connection. Or I will remove this connection right now. I will just tell you the best practice. In the constructor I will write this line, class dot for name. Catch it. So in the constructor I am just loading the driver. Okay. And inside the insert method, I will write code for getting connection, driver manager dot get connection. This code I am going to write here. This is throwing, I will throw exception here for simplicity. Then the next step will be to get an object of statement. Then statement dot execute update and pass the SQL. Okay. So this should be the insert query. Execute update method can be used to fire any insert, update, delete or create also. Same method for almost everything. I have a table called employee in my database. So I want to insert employee objects. Wherever possible, copy paste. Copy paste is the biggest tool you have. Without copy paste, there is no software development. By the end of the thing, at least if you are not expert in Java also, at least I expect you to be expert in copy paste. You should know from where to copy and where to paste. I am having a table employee in database, right? Generally, what we do is, for every table, we will be having a corresponding class here, right? I have employee table. I will create an employee class here. First, I will create an employee class and then use that employee to insert, update, or delete. Now, I am creating a class called new employee. New class employee, and here I'll write private int empid, private string name, private int salary. Then give getters and setters. and then in the util JDBC util, what I'll do is I'll modify this insert method to take employee. Here I need to write SQL statement for inserting employee. String SQL is equals to, tell me what is the insert into employee of employee EMPID, name, salary, values of values of employee dot get EMPID plus comma plus employee dot get name plus, see here, while inserting a varchar you have to keep it in single quotes, so I kept a single quote here, a single quote comma plus, then the third one is employee dot get salary, that's all, plus. See, this is the insert query which I want to use. Insert in employee of EMPID, name, salary, I concatenated values of employee dot get ID, comma, a single hyphen, we have to keep varchar in single quotes, right? Single quote emp dot get name, single quote ended, comma, salary, and this ended, values ended. See, now in JDBC demo, I'll comment all this existing code. I will create an object of employee now. Employee is equals to new employee, then JDBC util dot insert, and I will pass the employee object E. So the employee object James Bond should be inserted. Insert method is throwing some exception, I will throw it. Now I will run it. Yeah, no exceptions. Let me check here, is it inserted? I will refresh. View data. Yes, 007 James Bond and salary inserted. In JDBC I am going to write another method called update. Public void update. Which will take again employee object. Employee E. Here again I need to construct an SQL string. SQL is equals to, tell me the update statement, update employee set, update employee E, set E dot name is equals to less E dot get name. I have to keep it in single quotes because name is a string. I need to keep it in single quotes. Plus and single quote end, comma, plus E dot salary is equals to plus E dot get salary plus where E dot empid is equals to plus E dot get emp. This is the update statement which I want to fire. See, the rest of all the statements are same. First I am getting a connection, same. Creating a statement, execute update for even firing the update statement also. These three lines are same, copy paste. So execute update method can be used to fire update statement also. For instead of update, same, execute update. We can do it. So in JDBC demo, you can call update method and pass employee update. Employees for which ID will be same will be JDBC demo is same. Similar. Updating name and salary for an employee where employee is equals to based on primary key is updating the okay. See here, break. Okay, let me complete the few concepts. We take break 15 minutes, still more are there. Okay, I'll give you break, no problem, don't worry. Let us assume that here in my JDBC program, I gave you an assignment. How many of you did the assignment? Like in a file, employees are separated by comma. I want you to read the file line by line, split it by using comma, and for each line I want you to create an object of employee, put it inside a list, and then print the list. I gave you the program, right? Let us assume for an extension of that program, you are writing, I want you to do the same. Okay, I am just giving you the idea. Now, what I want you to do is, in a file there are lot of employees details stored. I want you to read that file. For each line inside that file, I want you to create an object of employee object, then store it inside a list. Then what I want to do is, iterate over the list, look at each employee object, insert that employee object inside the database. So for inserting, what will you call it? JDBC dot insert, and you pass the employee object, right? It will be calling, right? So now in this case, what I want to tell you is, suppose if you want to insert 100 employees, suppose if you want to use insert 100 employees, what you have to do? You have to call this method. Whenever you call this method, are you not filing the same query but with different values, right? So if you are trying to insert 100 employees, you are filing the same query to the database but with different values, right? So actually, let us try to understand. Whenever we call execute update here, query is passed to the database gets the query. Let me list all the steps what the database will do. Database, what it will do is, first it will parse the query, whatever you have sent. Then the parsed query will be optimized. Then after optimization, the query will be compiled. Then the compiled query will be executed on the database side. Even if you, not only from Java, even if you fire a query at command prompt also, all these steps will be happening on the database server. First parsed, optimized, compiled, executed, right? Now in this scenario, when you are filing the same query multiple times, unnecessarily it is parsing the same query, optimizing the same query, and compiling the same query. These all are redundant steps. Redundant steps can be avoided if compiled query can be cached, right? For the first time, let us assume, for the first time, whenever I am passing a query to the database, I can ask the database to cache the compiled version of the query. From second time, if I fire the same query, what can happen? The same compiled query which is in the database cache can be reused. So it can, we can avoid all the redundant steps like parsing, optimizing, compiling. The performance can be increased, right? If you want to tell the database server that it has to cache the compiled version of the query, then you can use another statement called prepared statement. See here how to use prepared statement. I will modify the same insert method. Instead of calling create statement, what I will do is connection dot prepare statement and pass the SQL here. Okay, and then when calling execute update, don't pass the SQL. These are the two changes you need to do. And here you have to take it in prepared statement. Prepared statement or execute update. Now for this execute update, don't pass SQL. So if you are using prepared statement, what is the advantage? There are various advantages. First advantage is, whenever you are executing a statement by using prepared statement or execute update, for the first time whenever you are filing the query, to tell the database server to cache, keep the compiled version of the query in the cache. So for the first time, what will happen? Parsing, optimization, compilation will happen, and the compiled query will be put inside the cache. Cache means temporary memory, right? And then executed. Second time, whenever you fire the same query, it is not compiled. All these steps will not be done again. The compiled query which is in the cache will be used and then executed directly. So the performance will be improved, right? And whenever you are using prepared statement again, see, instead of writing an SQL query like this, what I can do is I can use like this. String SQL is equals to insert into employee of EMP ID comma name comma salary values of, see what I'm doing, question mark comma question mark comma question mark. So whatever is varying, you replace it by question mark. After you get the prepared statement, what you can do is statement dot first employee ID is what is it, ID int dot, there are a lot of set methods, set int at which question mark, first question mark. The value of first question mark should be replaced by what, employee dot get ID, get employee ID. Similarly, second question mark should be replaced by name. So prepared statement, prepared statement dot set, name is a varchar, right? Corresponding thing in Java is string. Set string at which question mark, second question mark 2 comma the value is employee dot get name. Similarly, statement dot set, again salary is int, so set int, which question mark, third question mark, so 3 comma the value is employee dot get salary. See, previously for writing this concatenating the string you might have faced a lot of difficulty, right? It is now easy. You are replacing, you are just using question marks, and these question marks are replaced before firing the update statement, right? So this is another advantage of prepared statement. It will be very easy to write, right? So which is better to use? Prepared statement is better to use or statement is better to use? Prepared statement. Always. So when, in what cases? When you know that you are firing same query for multiple times. Same query is fired for multiple times but with different values. Then it is always better to use prepared statement. Suppose if you are not firing same statement, but still if you use prepared statement, what is the problem? Unnecessary database will cache. Even though you will not for the same query again, database will cache, which is not required. So use statement or prepared statement according to your scenario. Okay? Whenever you are firing same query multiple times, use prepared statement. Okay? Any doubts? Okay, in the afternoon I will give you an assignment using JDBC, because JDBC is very important. The same assignments, now whatever you do the assignment, same assignment, with some small modifications you will be using again in J2EE also. If you do this assignment, then for your programming test also, similar kind of things can happen. Okay? So after lunch we will see it. Now it is 12:55, you can come back by 2 o'clock.